Hey there, everyone. This is Mr. Lambert with your lesson and notes for today, Tuesday, January 5th of 2021. So, yesterday we started looking at the meat of 6.AT1. This is what we've been working for 2 cycles to get to. So we want to be able to identify a variable and construct algebraic expressions, including those with exponents that represent real-world situations. That's what we're shooting for here. So today, if you read in the little blurb at the beginning of the lesson, we're going to start looking at more complex types of equations that we can, or expressions that we can build. We are moving towards equations. We're going to do expressions for now because we're not really worried about solving these quite yet. We are really more worried about building the expression. So today we're going to look at more complex types of expressions we can make, more than one step or more than one variable. But before we get into that, let's look at the basics and review that together. So first things first, remember when you are creating an algebraic expression for a real world situation, you must, these are the things you have to do. First of all, you have to identify your variable. For example, let C stand for the number of cats I have. If I'm going to do something with that number of cats in my expression or my equation, I need to define what that is. If I was talking about the number of bags I might use the letter B. Usually the variable that you use has something to do with what you're actually having it stand in for. But you also need to make sure that you are telling whoever's working with the problem what that variable means. Number two, you need to use only the numbers, operators, and your identified variable to represent the situation. For example, 3c plus h. So that might be, let's see, for each day's worth of food for my cats, cost $3, and I bought them all $4 worth of, or I bought each cat $4 worth of toys. So let's say for each cat, how much does it cost per day? There would be the $4 worth of toys plus the cost for the 3C, for the 3 number of cats. So that's the type of thing we are working with. Here is an example. So Mr. Lambert needed to buy some paper bags in order to make a holiday treat bag, or to make holiday treat bags for his students. Create an algebraic expression that shows the minimum number of bags Mr. Lambert needs to buy. So first thing I need to do, I need to identify the variable. So I'm going to let S, in this case, stand for the number of students that Mr. Lambert has. Number two, I'm going to create an expression using only the variable, number, and operators. So again, I can have multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. I can have all those things. I can have exponents. I can have things in parentheses, but I'm only using those and my variable. So in this case, to find out how many treat bags I need, well, I would use the number of students, which is S, and if I want to give each student 2 bags, I'm going to multiply S by 2, and that would give me the number of bags that I need. So 2S could stand in for the number of bags that I would need if S stands for the number of students that I have. All right, as we move on, we're going to be moving on to multi-step and multi-variable equations. So we're going to look here at example 4 together. It says, write the phrase 5 less than 3 times the number of points that let's say that a team scores. So again, the first thing we need to do, we need to go through that 2-step thing that we just looked at. We need to define a variable, and then we need to write our expression. So first thing we need to do is define a variable. So if I think of this in words, it's 5 less than 3 times the number of points. My variable, well, this case, I'm going to use P as the number of points. And then if you aren't sure on the expression, well, we can write this out as a model. Remember, we need 3 times the number of points, so I could do 3 plus 3 plus 3. We could also write that as 3p in an expression. We'll get there in a second. So I've got 3 times the number of points. There's my number of points, 3 times. And then I'm going to subtract. Remember this little thing here, when we're doing one of these equations, means to subtract. I'm going to take away 5, or subtract 5. So that would be 5 less than 3 times the number of points. So if we were to rewrite this as an expression, sorry, let me head back here. If we're going to rewrite this as an expression, I have 1, 2, 3, p. I could do p plus p plus p, or 3p, 3 times the quantity P, which is the number of points, minus R5. And that would give us an expression that shows 5 less than 3 times the number of points. Moving on, let's try another one. All right, so Terry bought a magazine for $5, but 2 bottles of nail polish. Write an expression to represent the total amount that she spent. Then find the total amount if each bottle of nail polish cost her $3. So Terry bought the magazine for $5 and the 2 bottles of nail polish. Write an expression to represent the total amount that she spent. Then find the total amount if each bottle of nail polish costs $3. So we're actually going to solve this. We're going to write an expression and then we're going to solve it as an equation. So first step first, we need to define a variable. So step 1, since the nail polish costs an unknown amount, use D to represent the cost of the nail polish. So here we're going to use D. This is defining the variable. D is going to be the cost of the nail polish as we start out. Again, we want to write an expression first before we put in the cost that we know. So D is going to represent the cost of our nail polish. And then step number 2, she bought 2 bottles of polish plus that magazine. So if we were to write this out in the boxes, we would have D dollars plus D dollars plus $5. So if we were to write this as an expression, well, again, D plus D, we can also say D, or 2 times D plus the $5. That would give us the amount that we need. So again, 2 times D plus 5. We don't do this anymore because, remember, this multiplication sign looks a lot like an X. And since we can use X as a variable, and when we've got the number and the variable right next to each other, we're just going to put them right there to show multiplication. You can also use a dot in between, and that can also represent the multiplication sign. So again, we've got 2D, or 2 times D plus 5. There is our expression. Here's our expression. And again, we need to solve for the amount if D is, or the cost is $3. So the cost per bottle of nail polish is $3, and that was D. So we'll change D out for 3. And here we're just going to plug in the amount and do the order of operations. So we'll do multiplication first. 2 times 3 would give us 6. Bring the plus 5 down, and then 6 plus 5 would give us 11. So the total amount she would spend is $11 if each bottle of nail polish cost $3. There we go. So ladies and gentlemen, that is it for the working through with me. Next, I'd like you to try the guided practice below. So again, this is a lot like what we did yesterday. Just make sure for each problem you are defining your variable and then building that expression that uses only numbers, your variable, and your operators. All right. If you have any questions, please make sure you're contacting your teacher and try those guided practice questions out below.